So this is it, the POCO F3 after more than 100 days. I gotta say, this phone has grown on me. In fact, it has grown on me enough to call it one of the flagship killer phones in 2021. I still think that the Realme GT 5G is the real flagship killer this year, but thanks to the incredible value offering of the F3 and the weird state of smartphones today, the F3 deserves the title as well. To all the subscribers, welcome back and thanks for stopping by once again. And if you're new here, I create tech videos, so feel free to drop a sub to get notified of new content. If you have seen my 30-day review of this phone, most of my sentiments back then still apply to this day. The TLDR version is that the performance is still great, the battery is good enough, the design has held up pretty well, and the camera has improved since 10. I'm going out on a limb and say that the camera is now better than ever, particularly when taking photos. But there are a few notable things that have surfaced and changed since our last review, and it starts with MIUI 12.5. The version that I'm running on is 12.5.2 that's still based on Android 11 and features the May 2021 security patch. It's August and the F3 is already 3 months behind in terms of pushing security patches and the latest 12.5.5 MIUI 12 version. I don't expect the company to push out monthly updates since that usually happens on select top-end devices only. I'm not sure how Xiaomi tackles its software updates for its non-flagship lineup, but I expect at least quarterly or maybe every 3 months for the F3. Since the last major update, the first thing that I noticed is the addition of Super Wallpaper. So it's basically an exclusive feature of MIUI for its high-end lineups, and the F3 has 5 of them built in. With Super Wallpapers, you get this seamless wallpaper transitions from the always-on display to the home screen itself. And it even adjusts to dark mode whenever you have it turned on. It's honestly my favorite feature, and though it means I don't get to apply third-party wallpapers, the cool animations are super worth it. Pun intended. Another change is the default notification center, so swiping from the left calls for the regular notif tray, and from the right is your quick toggles. I don't mind the change, but I just wish Xiaomi implemented the left and right swipe for the screen as well, so I don't have to swipe down from the top every single time. I also noticed fewer frame drops, and that's always a good thing. One last thing though, I hate the fact that Xiaomi has forced us to swipe to the right to delete notifs and needing to press this icon to expand the message of notifications instead of a swipe down over it. It's just less intuitive, if I may say so. One area where the F3 can improve is the gesture response. More often than not, swiping up to go home takes a beat before the action happens, and the animation does stutter from time to time. Needless to say, I switched back to nav buttons. The battery life of the F3, I would say, has been okay. It's not amazing. I still need to charge the phone once every day regardless of my use. It's a solid 5-hour screen time device, but heavy users will probably find it on the average end since phones with bigger capacities usually hit 7 hours of screen time. But the fast charger in the box is really handy for fast top-ups as all you need is an hour to get to full tank. I've been playing Mobile Legends a lot on this phone with in-game voice chat by the way, and the comms experience is clear and consistent even with a fan blowing towards me. I think Xiaomi did a good job in minimizing background hums and noise when playing games. Call quality across the board is solid as well. And since there's no built-in headphone jack on the F3, I tried using the dongle in the box. It's really flimsy and feels like it's going to break if you don't handle it with care. But at the very least, I did not experience signal drops when moving the cable. But in the quality department, this is worse than a regular jack like the Redmi Note 10 Pros. It could barely drive my Marshall monitor headphones, and even at max volume, the loudness of the music or video is like 70 or 80% on a regular jack. And that's already saying a lot given that there's Dolby Atmos and a built-in equalizer here. In case you didn't know, I'm a long-time Samsung Galaxy Note 9 user. I've been using it for nearly 3 years, and the reason why I bought it is because of the display. After using the F3 for an extended period, I have not been satisfied with the outdoor peak brightness of its display. I tried using sunlight mode just to get the highest possible brightness level, but I think Xiaomi botched the last update because it's not working anymore. Now don't get me wrong, the F3 is a bright panel in this category, and it's surely bright enough if you're coming from an LCD or a lower end device. It's just that for users who are used to brighter panels, you might be left asking for more. For the camera, I think the quality of both video and photos with great lighting improved significantly. Detail preservation seems to be better now, and I noticed that stabilization has been improved as well. I'm more than happy with the shots that I got with the camera. It's a different story indoors of course, but it's not surprising at this point. POCO F3 still has this distinct look where subjects, especially skin tones, show brown, dark, and contrasty color reproduction. It works well with certain objects like food or wooden surfaces, but for others, it's not really my style. I prefer the bright and more natural look. CDK Offers specializes in delivering cheap and legitimate software and game codes, so if you ever need a Windows 10 Pro key, you can buy one at a very affordable price. To do so, just visit cdkoffers.com. Search for Windows 10 and choose a suitable copy for you, but in my case, I always go for a professional copy. Before making a payment, make sure to type in the RC20 code for an exclusive 20% off discount. After that, you can choose your preferred payment method. You will receive the code via an email that redirects you to the website of CDK Offers, and from there you can get your Windows 10 key. Since my Windows copy is already activated, I just can simply change my product key to the new one that I just bought. CDK Offers provides permanently valid keys with 30 days of return and exchange period. You can check out more deals in the video description below. And one more thing, because Android has poor support for in-app camera functions on apps like Messenger and Instagram, any photos you take with the in-app camera result in very blurry quality. I would suggest taking your shots with the native camera app before posting them. One of the few things the F3 can do is to record video from the selfie and main camera at the same time. But if you take a look at other modes, the movie effects panel shows interesting ones. I believe these features are not available on other mid-range Xiaomi phones. Now that we have discussed what's new, there are a few things that have never changed since the last review. The stereo speaker still produces that buzz towards the frame and back panel, Google Feed is still stuttery, and MEMC remains a gimmick which no one really cares for, to be honest with you, and the brightness slider implementation is still bad. All in all, POCO F3 remains one of the best overall phones you can get at a reasonable price and can last for at least 2 years. But I want to put stress on what a flagship killer is. When POCO F1 was introduced, it was considered a flagship killer because it had the same chip as the best phones back then at a fraction of their prices. But as the market constantly changes, it's almost impossible to replicate the success of a previous product. In some ways, some things have to change. In the case of F3, it has to give up on the best chipset and somewhat the camera hardware. However, I think a flagship killer today has to offer most of the best features at a reasonable price, and that's what exactly the F3 is, thus making it one of the flagship killers today. With the re-emergence of MediaTek this year, I think the term flagship killer is going to be thrown out more often than before, but that's for another video. So that's it for this one. As always, drop a sub or a like if you feel supporting the channel, and until the next one, stay safe.